7 is assigned to find a missing British vessel equipped with a weapons encryption device and prevent it from falling into enemy hands. And that's the first time I've realized that that's what the thing they were chasing is. So I'm glad that explained it to me. I must have missed that one piece of dialogue. Welcome back to the theater, ladies and gentlemen. James Bond January steamrolls along, and tonight we are finishing up Roger Moore. We're done with him, I think, right? Yeah, we're done with him.
For this year.
Yeah. The coffee didn't last nearly as long as I thought it was going to, and I made a bigger cup, too. It is for your eyes only here on Extras and Epilogues. The theater is open once again. My name is Shannon Young. I'm going to be your host, but I didn't come alone, of course. I brought some of the best agents in the field. First up is 00H.
Oh, Shannon, put on your clothes and I'll buy you an ice cream.
That's even creepier. And...
Yes, it is.
And
we'll talk about it, that's for sure.
00 Dusky.
Singing in the rain.
What?
It's when they're pouring rain on the umbrella and the umbrella collapses on him. I thought about doing the arm one, but I figured I'd save that for someone else.
I remember he jumps off a small cliff, at least to be fair, and uses the umbrella to, slow his fall. And I thought, that's cartoon logic. That's
and even that, I mean, at least it now I'm defending it. That was not nearly as egregious as some other things that happened. Maybe not in this movie specifically, but he doesn't go that far.
No,
if he had gone all the way to
if he had jumped off the cliff at the end, yeah, if he had fallen off the cliff,
if he had popped a wheelie with a semi truck, never mind. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
My problem with this particular stunt, though, is it's just in the realm of possibility where I could try it and find out, and I'm like, well, that's dangerous. Because a lot of these stunts, you're never going to have an opportunity. I can buy an umbrella and walk over to a hill and jump off and see what happens, but I don't think it's going to go very well. We are talking about For Your Eyes Only. This is the, what is it? What, the third to last Bond from Moore?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, because after this is Octopussy and A View to a Kill.
And so far, it sure was. And we've reviewed 2 Roger Moore films on the show so far. We reviewed A View to a Kill last year, which was the only Bond to get 2 thumbs down from us. I think it's the only Bond to get 2 thumbs down, right? Like, even though we've disliked some strongly.
Correct.
But from all three of us, I gave...
Across the board, yes.
Right.
I gave Diamonds Are Forever 2 thumbs down.
You did.
Yes. But
we all agreed that A View to a Kill is, and I was looking up lists today, and I think pretty much every list says that A View to Kill is like the, well, no, that's not true. There was Never Say Never Again, but that's really a hard one to...
That's a non-Eon.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't really...
They couldn't even use the Bond theme.
No.
Well, no,
how sad is that?
Eon version.
And isn't it just a remake of Thunderball?
Yes.
Or like Moonraker or something?
Thunderball.
Okay, yeah, Thunderball. I knew it was
worse effects. Yeah, so I kind of had a realization today when it came to James Bond, because I was reading about Never Say Never Again, and I didn't know that they couldn't even use the theme or anything like that. And someone posted a video that they had chopped up of that movie, but with the the Eon soundtrack, basically that score and all that, and they're like, see how much better it feels as a Bond film. And I realized that I kind of look at spy movies the same way I look at like MMOs. If there is an MMO RPG that comes out that's really good, but it doesn't involve a character or world that I particularly know or care about, I won't play it, because it makes me want to play the other things. Like, when I played Temtem, and I just like, well, this is just as good as Pokemon, but it just makes me want to play Pokemon. When I watch a spy movie that's not got James Bond in it, I just go, what's James Bond doing? I generally want to know what he's up to these days.
Where is he?
Yeah. Right. He's the best, because there's Kingsman, there's all these great spy movies, and I don't know. It's not 007, so...
Yeah.
This feels like the Sunny bit. Well, he's the original, so...
Original what?
Spy?
What is happening right now? Anyway,
hair is just solid black, like jet black.
Well, if they made a mask of his face, would you wear it?
Would you wear it?
Someone needed to give Roger Moore a mask in this movie to wear.
Oh man!
Because look, I still think I'm going to say this now, and it'll come back to my review later. I said this to Hunter. I think this is this is the best Moore movie that we've watched, in my opinion. It's not the most memorable, but it's the most, I think, to me, it's the most sound in that it never quite goes as far into the things that I hate as the other Moore movies have, but there are things that offset that. So you probably already guessed what my score is going to be because I'm very up and down on it. But for every good thing that I liked, like Bond doesn't sleep with the young girl when he has the opportunity to. Well, he never sleeps with her at all.
Oh, younger. Okay,
BB.
sorry. For
BB.
frame of reference,
Yeah.
by the way, yeah, BB. For frame of reference, that actress was older than the Bond girl.
Yes, Hunter.
I think it's
Hunter pointed that out to me too. Yeah, and I also didn't realize that she was supposed to be playing a 16-year-old in the movie, which explains why Bond didn't have sex with her. Because even James Bond wouldn't cross that fucking threshold.
Sure, at least he stopped there.
Right. Yeah.
It's never said, but boy, it's real uncomfortable. One, when you consider how old that actress was I think she was almost 30 at the time, Lynn Holly Johnson.
In this film?
Or, the implication at the end of the movie that really solidifies the bad guy being the bad guy, but,
I know what you want, but you're too old for me. And I immediately texted Hunter and I was like, she tells him he's too old for her, but Roger Moore is 7 years older than him. That's a true story. Anyway.
We'll come back to all of that later when we talk about the cast.
Yeah. Including Charles Dance, who's in it for about 30 seconds. I told Hunter, I messaged him and I was like, it's a wealth of cameos. Charles Dance is easy to recognize, right? It's Charles Dance. Yeah. The one that surprised me is the guy sitting there at the table when he's playing cards. And I immediately went, oh shit, that's the auctioneer from Phantom of the Opera. And I had to look it up to make sure what it is. I was like, how the fuck did I recognize him? And then I remembered why. Because one eye was looking at the camera and the other eye was looking offset at probably one of the girls, He had those Rick James bodyguard's eyes.
You put him and Shawn Michaels back to back, you see everything.
They're like multiple white geckos. Their eyes just...
Well, there it is.
It's just gotta go everywhere.
All right. I'm on it.
It's surround sound,
multiple white geckos.
Surround sound, but for the eyes. Anyway, let's just get to the stats. Let's get to the stats. We'll talk about.
Not even giving us the rest of the cast. We're talking about cross-eyed people and Charles Dance. It's fine.
He plays a guy named Klaus, which you wouldn't know unless you looked it up. Klaus.
Well, meanwhile, in John Wick, you would know who it was because the only thing that motherfucker ever said was, I am Klaus. And it's never explained.
No, the best part of the explanation was when Steven tried to justify it, and we all went, come on.
Oh my God.
Come on. Anyway, released June 26th, 1981, directed by John Glenn, who also did A View to a Kill, The Living Daylights, and License to Kill.
This was his first of the 4 runs. As you noted, he was a second director and an editor for a number of films we've watched prior to this. This was his first stab at the franchise in the director's chair.
And I thought,
so he'll...
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, I'll say it now. I thought he actually did a pretty good job directing it. The direction was pretty good. Like, it was well shot. It was technically sound. I really did. There was no super fast fight scenes, which drives me crazy. But we're also getting into the 80s now, where that stuff's becoming, better choreographed and et cetera, et cetera. So you give some credit to that. Written by Richard.
I see what you mean. You're talking about like the Connery one that's like kind of sped up and over the top.
Yeah. We don't fast forward.
Like literally there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah. I was misunderstanding. Got it.
Written by Richard Maibaum and Michael G. Wilson, we've talked about before. They also did A View to a Kill, The Living Daylights, and License to Kill. I'm seeing a pattern here. And starring an aging Roger Moore, although he's never really accused of it as such. But boy, it's not as bad as on A View to a Kill. But you could start to see it.
No, because that was like... because View to a Kill was...
6 years later?
4 years later?
Yeah.
Was it 87? Yeah, yeah.
Actually, it might not be because I think... either way, it's not that much older. It's not like he did, it's not like...
It's 4 years later.
Yeah.
4 years later.
It's not like Connery, where he had, this huge amount of time in between when he did the last Bond film and Never Say Never Again. But... I just remember seeing Roger Moore in this. He's still handsome. He's still charming. He's a great James Bond. And I think this movie, he's really good as James Bond. But, you can see the age. But I think there is a misconception that James Bond is supposed to be younger, because Bond is a middle-aged agent, isn't he? I mean, it's not like he's a kid.
I think it's.
I mean,
I was gonna say this is one of those things where we have. The books don't have enough of a run to really establish much of a timeline, because I would argue in the books, I'm going to have to look it up to be sure. I think like the latest he would be is like his late 30s.
And I mean, what was the Moore was born in 27, so
27, yep.
He would have been how old during this film?
I mean, by 81, he's what, 56?
Oh wow, never mind. I take back everything I just said. He's too old for the role.
Well, I was going to say, even it's less about the fact that Bond himself is old as it is about the things that he does at that age. Like, not just the secret agenting stuff, but again, the women. I mean, that's usually the biggest problem. It's just that's the one that really gets me.
You know who called that out the best, I think, was Austin Powers. When I think it was Dr. Evil said there's nothing, more like pathetic than an aging hipster. And that's spot on, because that's what it is. They're portraying Bond as the young go-getter, betting all the young women, the very young women. And if he had been 20 or 30 or, late 30s, it wouldn't have been as much of a problem. But when you're like 55, at that point, it's embarrassing, and I believe that's one of the reasons Roger Moore left, because he was so embarrassed by what they were trying to basically get him to do. He said he didn't want to be the old Bond. Connery said you shouldn't be the old Bond. And then Connery came back as the old Bond.
You might also remember that Austin Powers also calls out the sleeping with every woman he comes across trope, because when Liz Hurley is drunk, he literally says, "No, you're drunk. We shouldn't do this."
Mm-hmm. James Bond? James Bond's more of a man.
He's more something. Again, it's a poor... It's a painful thing to think about. We talk about it all the time in these movies, especially with Connery, in terms of aging of people 40, 50, 60 years ago is a lot more stark and different than it is for people of our generation for myriad reasons. Roger Moore, we haven't watched it yet. I assume we're probably going to watch it next year. Live and Let Die came out in 73. So it would have been filmed, 72 or so. He was already 46 when that movie came out. Like, we started with Roger Moore at that elevated of an age. Which,
as a 40,
and I think we talked about a lot.
As a 43-year-old, I don't like that term.
But you're also not starting a film franchise as the, groundbreaking, earth-shattering, climbing cliff faces and almost falling to your death James Bond.
Because they haven't offered it.
I would argue that it's true. If they do offer it, you can be the first American Bond not paid by CBS. So by all means, go for it. But also, I would argue that you are aging better than Roger Moore in terms of the face. Obviously, we talked about some things with injuries last week, maybe not so much, but such is life.
It's funny you mentioned that. I did not know this. Do you know Clint Eastwood was offered the role of James Bond and turned it down? Clint Eastwood.
By whom?
I don't know. Yeah. Probably some guy on the street that said you'd be a great Bond. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I read this on a real site. This was an actual legitimate site. But God, who the hell knows anymore? What's his name again? Eastwood. I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it now. The AI overview says the same thing, but I'm wondering where this story came from. So yeah, reportedly, if this is true, it was Cubby Broccoli and then Harry Saltzman. They wanted a quote an American star with charisma to refresh the series after Connery left. Eastwood was offered quote unquote pretty good money to take the role, but it wasn't enough to sway him. He wanted to do indies. He thought, first of all, that Bond should be British. And he wanted to keep doing the things that he wanted to do.
And I agree with him. The first part.
He was apparently also offered the role on the lead role on Apocalypse Now, and he was offered Superman at one point. He turned every bit of it down. So
wait, to be actual Superman?
Wow.
According to this, yeah, I don't know when or where that's.
We have so many rabbit holes we're jumping down, but now you got me curious because that's a terrifying age situation.
I'll say this to that point. I could see him turning down this and Superman, but Apocalypse Now? Why would you ever turn down Apocalypse Now? I mean, that is not a, it's not a, was it Oliver Stone, right? Unless I'm thinking of the wrong person. I'm pretty sure it was Oliver Stone. But it was a legitimate film. It was a serious movie. It seems like something he would go for. So I'm shocked he turned that down.
No. Apocalypse Now is Coppola. You're thinking of the one we watched with Kaz.
Oh, that's right. Platoon.
There you go.
Yeah. But it's still a great movie.
He turned down Superman because, again, he didn't think that the role suited him. He was going to be he was going to be tapped to play Namor, the Submariner, and then that never happened either. So, and then
oh my God! Okay,
But
I think we would have saved a lot of bullets there because, for reference, Eastwood would have been 48 when Superman came out.
But
the Apocalypse Now one makes perfect sense because you're thinking about, it was, it would have been a big movie, like it was Coppola, it was going to be a big deal. The money was probably good. It was the lead role, Captain Benjamin Willard. He turned it down because he did not want to spend months filming in the Philippines.
I mean, if there's anything that's going to make sense for Clint Eastwood, that's about right.
yeah,
Yep.
But
because I guarantee that was an awful set to have to be on for all that time, literally in the jungle. Apparently, he had just built a house, and so he was like, "No, I'm going to go stay in my house I just built now instead."
I will say, I think his greatest role, his greatest acting moment was when he spoke to a chair.
See, I thought his best role was trying to play the dinosaur in Jurassic Park, as seen by the documentary behind-the-scenes auditions on Saturday Night Live.
That was a pretty good one. Speaking of starring, we have a cast. Roger Moore returns as James Bond, 007. Carol, is that Bouquet?
Yeah.
I
I would
would
assume so.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's spelled like bouquet. I mean, that's how bouquet is.
She's
spelled.
French.
She's
so
French, right?
Yeah.
Chaim.
Haim
T'Pol.
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 Haim.
Yeah.
Haim.
It's like
T'Pol.
Hime. Haim.
Okay.
But it's got the. It's Jewish or Yiddish or whatever.
And then Lynn Holly Johnson, I believe, plays BB.
She does. Here's
Yes,
how I know it's Haim, because if you look that guy up, he also played the lead role in Fiddler on the Roof, which means it's very like Jewish, very Yiddish.
Who did he play in this film? Was it?
He's what's his name? Columbo?
Columbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other Greek smuggler that he initially suspects. of
Gotcha.
being-
The one who actually gets
Gotcha.
the final kill.
Yeah. Cathartic for that one. Runtime of 120. Also, Charles Dance, the guy from Phantom of the Opera. Runtime of 127 minutes, which is very long. And
hold on.
It feels it.
It does feel it. I feel like we have to address it just because of its connection to, or her connection rather, to Bond. The Countess is played by Cassandra Harris, who was at the time Pierce Brosnan's wife before she passed away of cancer.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know Pierce Brosnan was married, because Brosnan had. God, how old was Brosnan in 81?
he would have been. I just looked it up.
20s?
He would have been 28.
Yeah.
28. He was born in 53,
Yep. Oh, I love Pierce Brosnan.
and she was born in 48. So yeah, he married someone slightly older.
A runtime. Well, let's see. The runtime was so long, I went back to it to address it again.
127 minutes.
budget.
And then it feels it. Oh, rough.
Yeah, I was looking at the clock going, I don't know if I'm going to make it on time. Budget versus box office, the damn Guild Wars. $28 million versus $195 million. It's another hit. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a Bond film that didn't do business, is there? Like, legitimately. Even No Time to Die.
I don't know.
Even Die Another Day made like $440 million. So, like, I don't know if anybody Bond has ever completely bombed. Now, by Marvel standards, it did.
Now this is kind of weird. Apparently, the lowest grossing one is literally the one we're going to watch tomorrow. License to Kill.
I was going to say, License to Kill. That's part of the reason the franchise was on the rocks. Is that
and even then, and we're getting ahead of it because it'll be tomorrow. But even then, it cost $32 million to make it. It made $156 million.
Right.
That's what failure looks like for a James Bond movie.
Well, I was about to say don't look into what failure means for Marvel, but we've talked about that before.
I don't have this in the trivia for tomorrow, so worth noting right now, it faced competition from Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Ghostbusters 2. So you can sort of understand why it didn't make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Critical reception, 69% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes, pause for nice, 6.9 out of 10, 54 out of 100 on Metacritic, which is mixed or average. No cinema score, but 2 out of 4 stars from Roger Ebert, who said the film is a competent James Bond thriller, well-crafted, respectable product from the 007 production line, but it's no more than that. The whole movie is too routine. And once again, I feel like Roger Ebert nails it just right on the head. I'm not drinking nor intoxicated in any way, so I'm not afraid I'm going to forget these things, but I am also forgetful by nature, so I'll just say it now. I think my biggest problem with this movie is that for everything that I think it got technically right, like I said, I thought it was well acted. Even the ski, I don't know what their obsession is with getting Roger Moore on skis and putting him out in the.
I think it's because he likes to ski, even though it's not him doing the skiing. Most of the things.
Yeah, I almost texted Hunter. I almost texted him and said, "Wow, the special effects of this are so much better than the previous ones. Like, I can't even tell the skiing's fake with Roger." And then as I was typing it, they do the close up of him in the bobsled track where it's clearly a green screen behind him, and I hit back and just erased the entire message. But for every
That's what you were typing that whole time.
yes, I was like, oh, well, that's not bad. But for everything that got technically right, Bond doesn't sleep with every woman. He does, he sleeps with the Countess, but I mean, it's kind of understandable. She's a mistress. I mean, they flat out said she, it didn't feel creepy. She wasn't 12. It felt like, okay, I can see Bond and this girl hooking up. She's classy. Yeah, okay, I'll give him that one. He doesn't sleep with the younger girl. Even at the end, I mean, he does kiss the main Bond girl, but they never show them making love. Then they go swimming. It's all sweet.
Okay, but hang on, just real quick. Please do me a favor and go back to last week's show, the most recent show that we did on this, where you absolutely railed about the fact that every woman that James Bond meets immediately falls in love with him, immediately wants to jump in bed with him. That's the exact same bullshit that happens here. Why is this getting a pass?
I don't think so, because the Countess, again, mistress, whatever, I feel like her character would do something like that. The younger girl is clearly fucked in the head. She's attaching herself to everybody, not James Bond. She also attaches herself to the other skiers. She attaches herself, like, she is very clearly someone's star for love and attention, and Bond refutes her.
I think a lot of that same shit happened in the previous movie too, and that's why I'm so confused. I can't put the link together as to why that is the case, but it felt very samey to me. In fact, I watched a lot of this movie going, well, this is the same horse shit. Shannon's gonna hate this.
I think if he had, I don't know, maybe it's the one time he said no. For, I think, the first time he's ever said no. Maybe it shook me so much I was like, okay, I'll give it a little bit more credit. But I don't think it was the same as that. I felt like this, at least, kind of like on Her Majesty's Secret Service, whenever these women kind of attach to him and throw themselves at him, it makes more sense because they at least make an effort to explain why it's that way. Now, the main girl, I don't know about that one. I don't know what to tell you about her. Like, I barely remember her being in the film. I know she shows up sometimes, shoots a guy with an arrow, disappears for a little bit, comes back, shoots a guy with an arrow.
More or less.
Yeah, like, I don't know about her. But the other girls, I feel like they at least made an effort, like, especially the character of BB. I pegged her as soon as I saw her. I was like, I feel like I know people like that. The ones that love bomb, the ones that just get so attached. Oh, handsome older man. And clearly she has daddy issues. She's got a lot of fucking issues. So it didn't bother me as much.
At least she was a good skater in real life.
She is. Yeah, very talented.
I mean, this is pivoting away from that specifically, but there's no reason for that character to be in this movie at all, right? You can skip so much of anything that happens
pointless.
By completely eliminating her character.
She's
Michael
pointless.
G. Wilson, one of the writers, and of course, stepson, if memory serves correct, of Cubby Broccoli, mentioned specifically in interviews that BB was written to essentially be a thorn in Bond's side. She was meant to be an annoyance to Bond. And to the credit, it kind of succeeds, but in a weird way that I'm not a fan of.
That also leads me to the other thing that my biggest problem with the film is that if ever there was a villain in a Bond film that was so unmemorable, it's this guy. I don't even remember his name. I don't. Christoph?
Gonzalez?
Maybe?
Well, yeah, that's a different guy.
Gonzalez is the assassin at the beginning.
Yeah,
this guy,
so.
you're supposed to be led to believe...
Point proven.
You're supposed to be led to believe that he's kind of the good guy. He's helping Bond, but then, oh no, he's actually the bad guy. And I feel like there's bare bones of, well, that could be interesting. But what they give us is nothing. He's not interesting. He's not flamboyant. He's not memorable. Like, I get after Moonraker, they wanted to like ground the series a little bit more because that thing went off the rails. But like they overturned, they overcompensated by making the most bland villain I could ever remember. His henchman?
Well, at the beginning of the movie, he does drop Blofeld into a ball of fucking.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
One of you to bring this up.
You take the most ridiculous over the top villain at this point in time, outside of what basically just a Goldfinger, I guess.
Goldfinger, Dr. No, maybe, but Goldfinger for sure.
Goldfinger.
Yeah.
And you full on like that whole sequence if it had more jokes in it, could be an Austin Powers movie.
Yes.
That entire thing could be an Austin Powers movie. It's got the one-liners. It's got the ridiculous over-the-top shit. He feels more like Dr. Evil there than he's ever felt like that before. And you don't even technically know it's Blofeld.
Nope.
He can't be credited as Blofeld. They never show his face. They never call him that. Yeah, so, it's you just get all the little trope parts of it. So it's so ridiculous.
I'm glad you brought it up because I really wanted to talk about that. The beginning of the movie I thought was really good. When he goes to Teresa's grave, I went, "Oh shit! I've never seen this film." So I was like, "Oh, that's cool. They're not just skipping over it like it didn't happen. It still affects him. That's good. That's character building. You don't usually get that in a Bond film." And, the priest comes and says, "Hey, they're coming to pick you up. It's something urgent." He's like, "It always is." And I'm like, I like this. This is cool. This feels like James Bond. I always said my favorite parts of James Bond are the spy shit, the tragedy. Like, he's a great character, and you're getting that. And then you see Blofeld. And he's just sitting there with his little controller, like, "Oh, having a good flight, Mr. Bond." And it's the worst. The fright.
He calls it a good
Mr.
fright.
Bond.
I trust you had a good fright.
And the whole time he's playing with the little analog stick, and he's just like, "Ah, ha, 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 Mr. Bond." And it's like, okay, well, at least they're staying true to the character, where he's too fucking, for the world's smartest man, he's too stupid to just kill Bond and get it over with. And
also, he's still in that motherfucking neck brace.
Yeah, that's how fucked up he got.
It came back.
And then Bond, I was like, oh, okay, so look, Cody, explain for our listeners that are listening to this, going, okay, Blofeld's supposed to be like the most important Bond villain, right? Like, he's the head of Spectre, et cetera, et cetera. Explain to people, if they didn't listen to the previous shows, maybe they don't know, they skipped it, why Blofeld was so unceremoniously dumped in this film without even his name in the opening credits.
So Blofeld is dumped because of the conflict between Kevin McClory and Ian Fleming. Thunderball was written as a collaboration between these two, originally as a film script, before Fleming then made it the book. So, Eon Productions makes Thunderball the film with Connery. There becomes a lawsuit between Kevin McClory and Cubby Broccoli and that whole group. And what happens is that McClory, being one of the core authors of that script, ends up with the rights to Thunderball, which is how we get Never Say Never Again, is how we get the rights to Blofeld moving to him, because Max von Sydow plays Blofeld in that movie. Basically, so many things, including the name Spectre. Spectre as an organization is owned by McClory at this time, which is why we don't have Blofeld for the first few films with Moore, and then we're just like, well, we're getting ready to do Never Say Never Again. Actually, I need to look that up for frame of reference because I do not remember when Never Say Never Again came out. 1983. So, spoiler alerts.
Beat him to the punch.
2 years... Yep, 2 years after this. So probably knew things were on their way that way. So it's like, you know what? Let's just axe the guy. Never even happened. Don't say his name. We dump him down a smokestack, and that's it.
It's so petty. Like, it felt so petty. Like,
but it gets rid of him, and that's kind of what you needed to do in the moment, is that you needed to excise that character from the franchise. I don't think you need to do it at this point. You probably should have done it well before now, but I also don't know when you would have ham-fisted it into any other Roger Moore film, because you couldn't have done it in Live and Let Die.
Sure.
Man with a Golden Gun, maybe, but even then, again, you didn't really get the full camp. I don't think this would have fit at any point other than maybe Moonraker because of the campiness it required.
See, I fully get the need to get him out of there and all of that, but one of my immediate problems with this was, okay, it's all well and good to at least have him face off with his most, basically his most infamous villain at this point, and to have this very kind of over the top and maybe a little too much Bond thing, but it is very, very Bondian. Like, this whole sequence, somebody remote controls the helicopter and he manages to get out of it and he manages to kill guys. But the problem is, having watched On Her Majesty's Secret Service and getting to, like, honestly love that movie and love what happened there, and then be ripped apart at the end with that horrible, just like, he finally did do the right thing. He literally just drove by fucking drive-by shooting, and he got her. He didn't get Bond, but he got her. That's such a heart-wrenching moment. And then Bond's revenge is he picks that motherfucker up in a helicopter and Looney Tunes his ass into a factory.
It
like,
been,
that's not the way I want to see his like arch villain go out. I want a bullet to the fucking head, man.
100%.
Like, I want to
But
see
that's the
him
only way
really
you could
get
do
his
it.
revenge.
But that's the only way you could do it is if you do that same behind the scene, pat on his head because he's bald. Don't lose your hair now, and then execute him.
So-
that's literally the only way you could do it under contract. I agree.
Right.
If you're given the two options, just don't acknowledge them at all. If you can get away with that.
Let me
But
throw.
this felt very. I think Looney Tunes is a really good reference for that.
Let me throw it out there. If I would have done it, here's how I would have done it. Keep the whole beginning scene. Keep the whole beginning scene of him visiting Tracy's grave. Have an agent come up to him and say, "Are you sure you want to do this, or are you ready to do this?" And he just kind of looks at her grave and says, puts the flowers down and says, "Absolutely." You then skip to Blofeld. You don't see him. He's stroking the cat. It's only from behind. And you have some rainy thunderstorm sequence. He's hiding away. You have Bond show up, say, "I finally found you. Do you think you escaped forever?" I don't know. You throw the dialogue on whatever. And like Hunter said, at the end, he puts a bullet in his face. Like the beginning of Casino Royale. When he kills that guy, he says,
Yes.
that was perfect.
And that's his first.
Yeah.
That's his first one. That was the reference point I was thinking, actually, was that whole black and white sequence.
That was perfect.
Of him getting his first kill. Same type of deal. And he can shoot him in the back of the head for all I care. We don't have to see his face, but there needed to be a more, if we're going to invoke the Tracy Bond gravestone, the only woman he's ever really loved, and she was taken away from him, then there needs to be an equal and opposite return. Not, again, fucking wily kind of... Hey, for all I know, Blofeld should have turned around with a sign that just said "Eep" as he was fucking falling, and then you just hear like the slide whistle, the as he hits. Like,
Which
Shit, was he still holding the cat?
No, the cat got away.
Okay.
Sarah actually made a point. So I thought she was going to be asleep during this whole thing, but she was awake during some of the beginning of it. And I love, like, right afterwards, she literally looks over at me. She goes, "I love how they made a point to show the cat getting away before any of this happened." Like, there's one little insert shot of the cat going "Meow," and like jumping off his lap.
That cat ain't stupid.
And that's it.
That cat ain't
No, that
stupid.
cat-
He's seen some shit.
allegiance to no man. that cat's got a necklace full of diamonds. He can survive on his own in this world without issue. A life of luxury. I just want to point out quickly before we move on to other things that this is where we continue talking about throughout the entire Bond series, how they play so fast and loose with canon in terms of, is this the same person throughout all these runs, or is this a code name? This is now the second Bond. At least, let's see, so we're talking about 81. This is 12 years later, because On Her Majesty's Secret Service was in 69. This is a 12-year older Bond, quote unquote, memorializing his wife. It feels weird given the distance. More than anything else, I think, in this whole situation, because obviously the Blofeld thing, we have litigated that correctly here. It feels bizarre to see it come back now, knowing how much older Moore is than Lazenby was at the time, but...
Is it ever referenced again? Because I don't remember.
That I recall off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't. Brosnan never does it to the best of my knowledge, and I'm fairly certain
Yeah,
Craig
Dalton does
doesn't.
not.
So
Because Craig was basically a giant reboot, because you had to at that point.
Correct, yeah.
You had to, because
Tracy doesn't happen at that point, because Casino Royale is the first book, so Vesper's the first
right,
month.
yes, like the reboot, like you said.
It kind of feels like comic books, with the X-Men. Well, Magneto started as a Holocaust survivor, but eventually time's going to get so far away from them where, you have to reboot it or change something. And I think the same thing with Bond. You can't have Bond go from the 60s all the way to the 2000s and it be the same person, because that just doesn't make sense on a time scale. I feel like either, technically you could say Brosnan was probably a reboot too, right? Because they did away with a lot of the things, other than some of the actors still portrayed the same characters.
I mean,
It was
as
a
much as
6-year
they don't,
break.
right? Yeah, they don't directly reference anything from the previous stuff, to the best of my knowledge.
Like
But I mean, there's still that through line again of Desmond Llewellyn as Q, and
Yeah.
so.
But he's not the only thing, because you have a new M, you have a new Bill Tannen
Right.
when he shows up. I don't think Felix Leiter shows up in those films at all.
At all. No, because he's got Jack Wade as his partner, basically.
Importantly,
Yeah.
Or no, that's, yeah.
Because I looked it up and I remembered hearing this today. I knew there was something to it. It is referenced, or Tracy is referenced again, License to Kill to a certain degree. Sometime after Felix gets, through with his marriage, Della, his wife, says something about Bond getting married next. He looks kind of upset, leaves. She asks if she said something wrong, and Leiter says that, he was married a long time ago once. So It is referenced at least one other time there.
So basically,
I flew over my head.
Brosnan and Craig kind of exist in their own little dimensions, and everything before that is kind of linked. And at least then you're only looking at a 30-year difference as opposed to, 40, 50, but still, it gets weird. All right, let's talk about the film. What's the film about? Geez, well, that opening line said it all. I don't know what else to add to that. Other than
the MacGuffin's buried in the sea somewhere outside of, I don't even remember what country right now. I wanted to say Albania, and I don't think that's it.
The Bond girl in this film, I like the fact that she doesn't constantly give James bedroom eyes. She just kind of gives the same eyes no matter what she's doing. She doesn't really emote a lot. But you could blame that on, if you wanted to get technical, you could probably blame that on some kind of, stress disorder because her parents were murdered in front of her. Maybe that makes a person cold. So you can kind of understand, what that is. And it's a revenge mission for her, and it's just another mission for Bond, and people betray each other. Things happen. There is, I think, the silliest moment in the film for me. Yeah, this was definitely the silliest moment in the film for me, is when they're underwater and that fucking diving suit shows up and slowly walks towards them with the clamps, and he's ready to go to town.
Yeah.
Now
there's a lot of water shit in this one.
Yes, and what I was saying about the up and down, that's stupid. That's so dumb. I remember seeing that going, oh, come on, man. But then something I liked, when he kills the main henchman who's on the car, he just kicks the car over. That's just cold as shit. That's Bond right there. No, he doesn't, he just kicks the car over and kills him. And I was like, yeah. Now, the problem with that, though, because I can't give this movie a compliment without taking it down a notch, too, is that I don't know what that guy's name was. You're coming off of, look at some of the Bond villains, the henchmen you've had in just the past. Jaws and Odd Job. And, and then you give me Man with Glasses. By the way, the technology when Q is playing Mr. Potato Head and creates the facsimile of him, because that's him. That's our guy.
Well, the one thing I'll give, I will give it credit for one thing in that scene. I give credit that it shows that it took so long to accomplish. Because you see, time has passed where the assistant in Q lab is bringing coffee. You can see Q and Bond both have their jackets off. They look like they've been at this for a while. That is the only credit I'll give that scene. Otherwise, it's incredibly absurd, 100%. But at least they were willing to say it didn't take 12 minutes to generate this on a fucking Commodore 64.
Two things about that scene, or about that in general. Number one, it was both that sequence, the effects of with the giant fucking nose, and then trying to fix it. That, and then prior to that,
nose, not banana cube.
when they show the interior of the ATAC sub at the very beginning of it, and there's a lot of those glass pane with the green lines running through type, a map type where you can see through both sides. Immediately, Sarah goes, "Somebody watch Star Wars," and I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be," because at this point it's It's 81. So 81. Yeah, we're deep into Empire. Star Wars territory at this point. Yeah, we're right past Empire, or right in the thick of it. And then the other thing, I actually had this in the trivia if you're listening for it. So when they go into it's called the identigraph. When they go into the identigraph booth, Q enters 5 digits of a 7-digit code, and they play a tune. Bond then plays the last 2. He puts the other 2 in, and it's the opening notes to Nobody Does It Better, which is the theme to The Spy Who Loved Me, which is the last film that we watched. So it goes da 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 do do do.
And since we're here, I
do enjoy that.
Let's play a round of Cody's favorite game. How was the intro song?
Dark gray mist.
All right. Well, I meant to play this one.
How do you like us now?
That's a better one. So this one, it's Shayna Easton, I think is her name.
Sheena
Easton. And the song is For Your Eyes Only. I actually thought it was a pretty good song. I didn't hate it. I thought the opening credits was boring, but the song was I like the song, but once again, not for a Bond film. And why she had to sing at me the entire time, physically, I didn't care for. I didn't care for that.
She's asserting dominance. She wants you to know that this is for your eyes only.
Yeah, well, by the end of the movie, I just get in my head, I kept thinking, for my eyes only, for my eyes only, for my eyes only. Hunter, you didn't seem like you liked the song. You didn't like it?
I hated this fucking song. I hated the song. I hated the sequence. It doesn't match the film. It doesn't match anything
other than they were underwater.
Tickled my brain properly in any way, shape, or form.
They were underwater.
By the time it was over. By the time it was over, Sarah goes, "Boy, that was bad." Before it was over, she went, "When will this be over?"
When I
Yeah,
Terrible.
when I was
I
watching
side
it,
closer to Hunter than I side to you in this one. I'll just say.
Well, no,
It is
no,
a
no,
song
no.
that I do traditionally skip in the sequence if I'm listening to all the themes in order.
listen, I thought the song was fine. Like, if this is a song I think Lindsay would listen to. Like, I really think Lindsay would be like, I like this 80s song, and I would go, yeah, it's not bad. But personally, when I heard it, I'm not kidding. I'm probably 30, 40 seconds in and watching it, I went, man, you remember how cool the Casino Royale intro was? With the cards and, like, you know what I mean? Like,
You know my name.
that's James Bond,
Yeah.
right? That's James Bond.
Yeah.
That's not James Bond for another 25 years.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
If it makes you feel better, not to get ahead of ourselves, but License to Kill's theme is very good.
Who
It's
does that?
Gladys Knight.
Oh,
It's Gladys Knight.
And the Pips?
It fits the vibe. It fits the. It's just her. It's just
Okay.
her. Yeah, no pips. No pips this time.
No pips.
But yeah, it fits the vibe. It fits the movie. It's just a good. It's
yes.
also it's the exact opposite of this for me. It's not only a good Bond theme. It's a theme I would listen to otherwise. It's a good one.
Yes.
Anyway.
To tie it together, I would say that that's maybe one of the best thematic back-to-backs is Gladys Knight doing License to Kill and then Tina Turner doing GoldenEye. Like you talk about like back-to-back films that have banger themes, those two in a row.
and I don't know if I
Yeah.
mentioned this much when we recorded it because you guys know GoldenEye is my favorite Bond film. I think the Tina Turner song is really good, but it's just not for me. Like it's just not my style. Like I thought it was well done, and I get why it's so good, but like legitimately for me, Casino Royale is. Even though GoldenEye is my favorite movie, that Casino Royale, I don't know how anyone could ever top that. It's just so visually pleasing, and I love that song.
You're also going to get another, again, ahead of ourselves, but you're going to get another back and forth in the next week because Die Another Day by Madonna is hot trash. But Skyfall by Adele is maybe the greatest Bond theme of all time. I mean, it fits the vibe. It's a great solo song. It's so good.
I wish we had fans that like to interact with us more because I would love to ask them, what do you think the greatest Bond song is? Because to me, it's Chris Cornell. Adele is. I've never watched the movie, so I don't know it. I'm just gonna be honest.
Shit! So you're kind of in for a treat, but you do remember that song being on the radio around the time that movie came out, right? Yeah, because I mean that was not a crossover hit, but it was a pop hit.
I remember it being on the radio, but I never listened to the radio, so I never heard it. I've heard bits and pieces. Yep. But I love Adele, so I can't imagine me disliking it. Now, I want to really quick. I want to go back to what you said about the Madonna song and agree with you.
Trash. I was going to say hot trash, hot garbage, real bad.
Well, Hunter, don't
let's
worry.
just spoil that right now. All three of us hate that
It's
song
Madonna in her weird EDM
music
era.
Well, don't worry. She also shows up in the film too, because why not?
She does.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I will use the anecdote here, but go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I've seen all the Brosnan films, but the only one I ever remember is GoldenEye. I don't remember shit about the other three, so I'm in for a real treat for the next couple of years here.
I'll use this anecdote on the recording as well, but I do love that Die Another Day is so infamous for me because my college roommate, still one of my best friends, absolutely hates it. And it was the bit where if he pissed me off or we needed to get up for an exam or something, he wouldn't do it. I would turn that bitch on, slide it under his door at full volume on my phone.
When I was researching this movie today, and I found a list of like the worst Bond films, and I was like, okay, they're gonna shred Brosnan in this, I feel like, but it was equal parts. Like there were 2 Brosnan films and there were 2 Craig films, and I was like, oh, I didn't know people just like the Craig. Like I knew Quantum of Solace, but they also said that Spectre is like the worst Bond film. That they were saying gets the way, and I was like, I don't know, man, because at least Spectre has.
I don't know if it's the worst one
because
ever,
at least it's modern and it's going to have way more closer to what we like as viewers than Connery. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know.
I mean, it's as dull as Connery and Moore in a lot of points.
I can't wait for next year. But let's get.
I've only seen it once. I don't remember. So.
I've never seen it. I skipped all the Craig ones except for Casino Royale because I started to get out of my Bond phase at that point, and I really started to get back into it with you guys. So let's get back to this movie though. We're spending a lot of time talking about not For Your Eyes Only. Boy, is that indicative of this movie? That we're talking about everything else.
The tale of this movie. Yeah. While I enjoy some of the scenes, it is wholly unmemorable. And I said this to Hunter off the recording, but I'll say it here. The fact that we've spent so much time vamping on other topics it is an indictment on the Moore run that this is like the second or at lowest third best Moore film in terms of everyone's reviews, contemporary and retrospective. The fact that this is in the top 3 of his films is an indictment that we have spent this much time because it is that relatively dull.
But what's really sad is that it is dull. I agree with you, but it's also so competent. Like, they fixed a lot of the things I disliked. They at least made an effort, and yet at the same time, they took away the Bondness of it. Like, it doesn't, like, I know it's James Bond, but like, where's the interesting villain? Where's the Bond girl that has, you know, some kind of not importance, because she is important, sort of, but I don't know. She disappointed me too. Like, everything about this just feels so half-assed.
They kind of already did this. Right, they kind of already did this with the, you know, it was sort of a breath of fresh air when they started having the Bond girl who had, like, a revenge quest. Like, it wasn't necessarily, I'm getting revenge for the death of my parents, but it was like, I'm an agent from another country, and some of my people were killed, and I'm going to get involved. I mean, that really kind of, I don't want to say it started with The Spy Who Loved Me, but that was kind of the first time that they tried to make them on the same playing field, I guess, to a certain degree.
Right.
The scenes were planted on Her Majesty's Secret Service, but she wasn't an agent. It just happened to be that she just was good at listening to what Bond told her to do, basically, was very competent as a person. So it's not some big revelatory thing here where this woman's parents get killed and she becomes Huntress from the DCU with the crossbow. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to be super excited about that or not, but I wasn't. I mean, It was cool the first time. It's cool when she gets to kill Gonzalez in the pool. And that's kind of it. Like, after that, I go, all right, well, you did it.
And then in the end, they stole her revenge. Like, Bond didn't even kill the guy. The other guy killed him. Like,
well, okay. Well, hang on. To be fair, because you're not wrong, that is exactly what happens. But part of the overall kind of theming of the story, if I'm giving it some credit, Bond says it early on, is that there's an ancient Chinese proverb, which it is for the record, it was attributed to Confucius, but it comes up a lot in Hamlet too, which is why it caught to me right out of the gate. Before one seeks revenge, one should dig 2 graves. In other words, if you go down this path and this is all you're going to do, you're going to get consumed by it as well. Yep. So he does stop her for that purpose, and I'll give him credit for that. There was, at least for a guy who kind of exists on, you know, again, the theming at the beginning of the movie, I hate this guy so much, I'm gonna fly him up in a helicopter and drop his ass in a smokestack for killing my wife.
He knows.
It might come across as a little hypocritical, but like,
right,
you do see after that however much time passes, he doesn't feel better. He's not in a better place because he did that. His wife is still dead.
Right.
You know, he protected the world in the sense that Blofeld is still out there, but Blofeld was hatching fucking Riddler schemes to deal with him, not trying to deal with the rest of the world at that point. So I give him a little bit of credit on that front. That doesn't make her a more interesting character.
No,
it doesn't help in any way. And she gets the same ending from The Spy Who Loved Me. It's the same bit of in the sub. Now let's have sex with Bond. Like,
no, they went swimming.
Nothing.
They got out of the sub this time. They went swimming.
It was. Yeah,
like a dolphin. No, that's the difference. He was doing it. My problem with it,
or rolling with the homies.
Rolling with the homies. This is how people swim, I assume, because I don't really do that much.
It's like when you're on the phone.
Yeah. This is how night elves swim. So my problem was less that she didn't do it. It's that there wasn't a more interesting ending for it. Like, Bond, sure. I agree with you. I like the idea that Bond has killed people 100 times. He's a killer. That's what he does. Bond is. We always say. What do you always say? The protagonist doesn't necessarily have to be a good guy. Bond isn't a good guy. He's a killer. No. He's a hired killer for the state.
He's a tool.
Yeah.
M calls him that.
Right. And the fact that he tries to talk her out of it because he doesn't want her to follow the same path, because he knows the more she does, the worse it gets, because he's been there. I like that. What I don't like is that the dude just throws a knife and kills the guy. Like, I feel like they should have arrested him. He should have gone to jail and to me, that would have been a better ending, that he is going to face justice for his crimes. The fact that that secondary character just throws a knife and kills him, or at the very least, Bond should have killed him. Bond should have seen that he was going to kill her, and then he smoked him. That would have been better to me, but it just felt anticlimactic. Bond might as well have gotten that helicopter back, picked him up, flew him to a volcano, and dropped him in that, and said, see? That's how you do it, kid. Bada bing, and he throws his cards up and leaves.
I also, like, in a bubble, going further from that, I liked the whole, sort of subplot of Russia trying to get their hands on the ATAC thing and Bond just destroying it and Gogol just being like, all right, well, I guess you win. And that little smirk of like, well,
I like that. It's not my hands, it's not your hands.
And what are we going to do? Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it. So I liked it when it was all said and done. It's just, oh God, the getting there is so uninteresting. Just everything that happens between the kickoff and the penultimate setup, it's just.
So I feel
not
like
there for me.
I feel like Hunter thinks I don't know if you think I disagree with you on a lot of it, because I don't. I do agree with you. And the best way I can say it, the best way I can sum it up is this. When I was watching the film, about halfway through it, I almost messaged you and said, I don't understand why you said this movie is so unmemorable. So far, I really dig it. And then about 3/4 of the way to the film, to the very end, I sat there in a blank stare going, what's happening? Like, what is that device? Who is that again?
Yep.
And then Lindsay had to say, that's Bond. And I went, fuck. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. She wasn't here.
But yeah, it lulls you into like a false sense of security. Like, no, this is pretty good.
It's like,
I'm enjoying it, and then you realize you don't remember a damn thing that's going on.
It's like if I bought a DiGiorno pizza. In the moment, I'm like, well, this is pretty good, but I'm not going to remember that pizza tomorrow. That was like, it was comfort food. Wow. You know, it was good. It was fine, but like
empty calories.
Right.
Empty calories.
I'm not going to message Jesse and be like, I just had the best fucking frozen pizza.
I don't even know if it's comfort food, because I've had comfort food that sticks with me for a long time that I can tell you the best version of this, that, or the other that I've had. I'll tell you what it is, because you just described it, not realizing it. It's that night that you did that sweet triple jackknife on the trampoline with Chrissy Orlando, and you did the thing a little bit, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was well. I wasn't going to say it.
I'll say it.
It was great. It was
great.
It was good.
Well,
it was fine.
Well,
it wasn't that great, but it was memorable.
But I did it.
You did it.
Okay. I think that's the best place as any to get to the reviews.
Yeah. I think a better place was 5 seconds before we did that.
I would say it was in the first 20 minutes of the show. They had about 30 minutes of filler there of us talking about other Bond films.
People are going to listen to the show and they're going to be like, God, these guys are spot on. And then half an hour later, they're going to go, what the fuck were they
What are they talking about? Which movie is this? They have to check the review.
Right.
Which one's Shannon? And they're going to be like, the one on Watch, I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the reviews. On this show, we follow 5-point system. You know the rules. You know my name. 2 thumbs up, you love it. 1 up, you like it. 1 up, 1 down, you're indifferent, neutral, explain yourself. Keep that in mind. 1 down, you like, or you didn't like it, and 2 down, you hate it. Most famously, the only Bond film that all of us have just flat out hated as a group is still A View to a Kill, with the great late Roger Moore, Sir Roger Moore. So where will, what's this one again? For your eyes only, end up on the spectrum. Let's find out. And we'll start with Cody.
I feel like this entire conversation has just proved the true neuralizer for Men in Black is just for your eyes only.
Just show them clips.
Show them this movie and no one remembers whatever happens. It's fine.
Donald Trump's going to start sending this DVD out when we talk about Greenland and the Epstein files.
Oh yeah.
What? Sheena Easton, she's Scottish. It's fine. It's
why is she singing at me?
I can't. It's so intensely. Those are not bedroom eyes, ma'am. That's not how that works. Anyway.
No, those were underwater bedroom eyes. How does that even work?
Well, I got it.
What did that meme say, Hunter? She had low income white person eyes.
That's the one.
We'll call her Sidney Kennedy or Kidney Sweeney.
Sid Kennedy.
Oh.
What is happening?
What is happening?
I don't have to justify myself for my answer. 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, move on.
Cody, you have to talk more. I have to go change somebody's name to underwater bedroom eyes. I just realized it's obviously Dalton. So
yeah, well, he provides the water.
Exactly. By the way, after I made that joke last week, he messaged me. Cody wouldn't see this. He messaged me, at least you didn't change my name in the group chat to the man with the golden shower. And I was like, you got it, buddy. And I went and did it, and he just goes, motherfucker. He
came into my store on Saturday and said, yeah, I messaged Hunter and told him this. And I was like, I know. I saw the receipt. He didn't get to tell me, baby.
God, okay.
Cody, would you like to elaborate?
One thumb up, one thumb down. No, but I will try anyway. Again, it's an indictment on the Moore portion of this franchise that this is in the top 3 of his movies, which speaks very poorly to what we have left, boys, given we have Moonraker, Octopussy, and what most people think is his best, Live and Let Die, which, as I told Hunter, spoiler alert, Shannon, if you've never seen Live and Let Die, Blaxploitation, the James Bond film.
I have seen that one because it's Yvette Koto, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Well, don't forget the man with the golden gun.
I would like to forget. That's why I didn't say it.
All right. Well, Hunter,
But since you did it, here we are, I guess. Empty Calories. It's Empty Calories, the Bond movie. It's competent. There's nothing offensively bad about it, save for the intro, as we've talked about extensively. Not even being a predator makes the bad guy memorable enough for us to remember his name by the end of it.
Oh.
Like, that's problematic. Yes.
Can I ask a question? Now that you brought that up, because so what was his relationship to that girl? Was he just her benefactor? They weren't related, right?
Yes. Well, yeah. She called him uncle.
She called him
The way
uncle.
It's basically said is that he's
Yeah.
a sponsor. He's a sponsor for her Olympic dreams. Like, he's the one that's the money for her to do this. Which is why at the end, as she's nursing Columbo after
He's
she
got a new
was knifed and
sponsor.
killed,
Yeah.
yeah, she's got a new sponsor, and hopefully one that's a lot less creepy, who's still involved in the underground in terms of moving and smuggling, but at least he's not aiming for her in that way. So small victory, I guess.
And again, this once again goes to the point that Bond's not a good guy. He's working with a guy who does deal. He's an illegal dealer, and Bond doesn't do anything to him because that's not his mission. Bond is not Captain Save-A-Ho.
Exactly.
He is there to do his job.
He married a woman whose husband or whose father was also a criminal.
Right.
I mean, we joked about how funny that was with them at the wedding. Like,
Yeah.
him talking to
meet
him.
the guy who killed 2 of my best agents. Hey, how you doing? Yeah.
Exactly. This is great. Everything's above board. Yeah, so it's Empty Calories, the Bond movie. The skiing scenes are fine. There's a lot of moments here where Moore should have died. Bond should have died. More accurate here. And I'm not speaking of Sir Roger Moore. I'm sure he was fine
It
enough,
seemed like
I
a
guess.
good dude, yeah.
At least Bond gets wounded. You don't notice it really because they don't acknowledge his shoulders getting wounded underwater or his leg getting cut.
With the clamps.
It's not really addressed. Yeah, like it happened, and that's literally all you do to it, other than saying, bandage his arm up so the sharks don't get him, which, by the way, just immediately came back to me. I forgot the shark bit was a thing until right now. It is unmemorable Bond the movie, but yet it's not awful Bond the movie, therefore thumb up, thumb down, I'm moving on.
Who the fuck was the guy in the sub that attacked him underwater? I assume he was another henchman, but these henchmen are so replaceable and interchangeable. I didn't know who was who. Like, you had Jaws. Oh yeah, okay, thanks for bringing that up.
And he got away.
He got away because they're too popular. There's a reason. That's the reason they killed these guys.
Yeah.
When they have the gunfight on the docks, my phone buzzed a lot. When they have the gunfight on the docks, and I was like, well, I'm glad everyone's color-coded because the good guys are in dark black and everyone on the bad guy side are wearing like light blue shirts and pants. They made sure to... I get confused because none of the characters were memorable that I knew who was who.
Neon orange with lightning bolts on their helmets.
Oh. All right, Hunter, it's your week with the kids.
Perhaps surprisingly, I am also going to go one up, one down here. Look,
I'm
I didn't
surprised.
really like this movie, but I didn't. It's because I don't know what to not like or like or what. I mean, yeah, Empty Calories is a really great way to describe this movie because in the moment, and I kind of actually had a similar experience that early on I thought, boy, as compared to some of the stuff we've watched recently, this is not bad.
Right.
Like I'm not. I don't hate it. It's fine. Along the way, I kept going, well, some of this is ridiculous. And also, what's going on? And where's this person going? And I realized afterward, the only real memorable things were the ridiculous subplot with the ice skater, the ridiculous opening with Blofeld, the ending where everything just kind of goes back to neutrality. There are things at least that I remembered about it. And there was nothing outside of, again, the teenager subplot. Boy, I can't tell you how much I hated that. That I thought none of this is necessary. Like everything that's happening, I get why it's happening. I understand why it needs to happen. I actually thought the set piece of the henchman, or of not the henchman, but Gonzalez killing the main the lead woman's parents.
The
set
plane
piece
with
for
the
that was
gun?
really cool.
Yeah.
The actual it coming through, shooting them, and all that. But then again, she shoots him. It's resolved. I really, a lot of that could have been saved for later. He should have been the main villain. If we're going to do this thing, make him like a key villain for the rest of the movie. I don't know. The first half, it's not that bad. And then it gets really uninteresting after a while there, and it gets really forgettable. I definitely reached a point where I just went, I don't know what to think about this movie. And that's why I'm going with that version of One Up, One Down. It's not really, there are things I liked and things I didn't. It's just, I really don't know what to tell you about this movie. Watch it if you need to be a completionist. Watch it if for some reason you really like Roger Moore as James Bond, I guess.
You want to wash the beauty of a kill
He's not really
out of your
good.
mouth?
Yeah, you got to do that, or at least you got to prep yourself for that one and have at least something on your side. Watch it if you're doing a podcast where you're watching all of them eventually. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something I'm going to go, yes, this is the film you should go and see.
Right.
Yeah, it's whatever.
So
that's the best way I can sum it up. It's whatever.
Help me out here.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, I was you mentioned the set piece where they kill the girl's parents, and I agreed that I thought that was very good too. I don't know why they killed the parents. I don't know what the relationship was. That's how little I remember. You're not wrong, man.
I got you on this.
You're not fucking wrong.
I do remember this.
Okay.
I do remember this part, and it was only because I actually liked what was going on up to that point. So after the sub is sunk, that has the ATAC system on it, because the whole thing with the ATAC system was that it's going to launch Britain's like missiles from their subs or whatever. And if somebody gets their hands on it, they could be in control of those things. That's why it's all chained up and there's a guy handcuffed and all that shit. So after it is sunk, they think it's accidentally sunk. They believe that it hit a mine by mistake that wasn't supposed to be there. Something got off course, whatever.
I remember that.
Her parents are marine like explorers. They know.
That's what I
don't
thought,
remember what their exact deal was,
ridiculous.
but they're the kind of people who they can hire quietly and privately, pay them a shit ton of money, and go, "Hey, find this thing and give it back to us," and they will do it. And then when this guy learns that that's who they're hired to do it, he has them killed so that they can't do that.
Yeah.
Left the daughter though.
That's it.
Didn't double tap. Should have flew
Didn't
back around. Well, he didn't know.
Right, didn't
she
think
wasn't
that
there.
she was going to be part of the equation. Yeah. Well, he dropped her off, but
Oh shit! Yeah, right. Well,
yeah.
Because the pilot then turns around, because that's why she comes out from giving the parrot a couple pistachios, and then she sees that happen. She hides kind of behind the banister.
And then they show that close up of her face as she's holding like her mother's bloody whatever, and it's supposed to be intense, but she just, again, maybe it's shock. I will give it credit. Maybe it's shock. But I think it's more that actress just could not emote that way, you know?
It looks fake. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to break with tradition here, and I'm going to give this movie 1 thumb up and 1 thumb down.
Okay.
I really don't have anything to say. You guys hit every nail on the head. Like the only thing I disagree with is I thought the song was okay as a song, and that's it. Everything else that was said here, I pretty much thought, yeah, I mean, straight up, I liked some of it. I liked the seriousness of it. I love the opening with Bond at Teresa's grave. I hated the opening when Bond Looney Tunes Blofeld into a fucking smokestack. I love that it wasn't so over the top. It was ridiculous. I hated that it was so under the top that I couldn't remember a damn thing about it. I liked that the Bond girl didn't immediately want to sleep with Bond, and there was no like hints of a romance for the longest time. I hate that they still ended up in bed together at the end because James Bond must bond. I like that he didn't sleep with the little girl. I hate that the little girl was in the movie. Like, everything I can say that's a positive is immediately followed up with a negative. This to me is the definition of 1 up, 1 down for me. Of like, I agree with Hunter, but in a different way. He said he can't tell you. I can tell you a lot about this movie, but it's just even. It's even keel. There's nothing that made me so mad that I went, this is stupid. There was also nothing so interesting that I want, this is redeemable. The henchmen are boring.
You really don't think him dropping him down that fucking smokestack was stupid?
Ah, damn, you got me there.
Hang on. Hang on.
Okay,
that was the...
Hunter, we were talking about this before the recording, before Shannon came in. Is it worse or better than Silent Dirigible? That is our barometer for stupidest thing in the franchise.
It's better because at least
Silent
it's
Dirigible is always going to be the dumbest thing. Yeah. Well, okay, but hang on. To be fair, Silent Dirigible made me laugh more than almost anything we watched last year, including most of the comedies in November.
You did crack up quite a bit, yeah. But there was something just so comical to me of seeing Bond flying Blofeld around on that helicopter, and Blofeld going like, "I'll buy you a delicatessen."
Yeah, so that's in the trivia. I'm glad
With
that
stainless
you
steel.
remembered me because I was going to mention earlier. So when he's begging Bond to spare his life, Blofeld baffles viewers with the cryptic line, quote, "I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel."
He did.
So reportedly, this phrase is attributable to producer Albert R. Broccoli, who recalled accounts of 1930s New York mafia gangsters offering full-service delis as a bribe to cohorts. Of course, stainless steel countertops there at that time would have been revolutionary, brand new, stuff. So that's where that's coming from. That's the weirdest possible thing he could offer.
Boy, nothing screams 1981 British spy like a 1930s
Right.
New York reference. Really hitting the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Just capturing the magic.
This is also, just importantly, this is also a man who owned the inside of a motherfucking volcano.
Yes.
And he offers James Bond a deli
So-
to save his life. Like, again,
Yep.
please understand.
I'm glad I'm not
this
drinking.
Man,
Honestly. I don't know if I'd survive.
this man owned a fucking volcano. And he's like, "I'll buy you a sandwich shop.
But Bond
I'll
keeps
give you a business."
Bond keeps
You know,
blowing him
Cats, I'll
up.
make you one better.
He keeps blowing him up. He would have just blown the delicatessen up.
I can't. I
So-
can't.
He'd have done a drive-by
I
on the
simply
delicatessen,
can't.
and then you would see Jerry Seinfeld and his crew all laid out. And that's how you
I
end the
need-
series.
I need to use my one use of ChatGPT today to have it make me a mock-up of Double O's sandwich, the Bond Deli.
The TV show. That's the TV show. Where a spy by night.
When he retires.
Yeah.
When he retires,
Yeah,
right.
he
yeah.
runs the
With
delicatessen.
such sandwiches as for your rise only.
All right, I'm
Oh
disconnecting
my
him. I'm disconnecting him. I'm going to disconnect him. And when you order...
Okay.
No, I'm going to keep it going.
Now I'm going to do it in my head. I'm going to be doing it in my head. This is going to be bad. I'm going to be stuck on it now.
All right, I'll say it anyway. It's terrible, but I'm going to say it.
Crusty.
I'm gonna I'm gonna contribute too. If you don't want something on the sandwich, you got to say, let me get a. And they expand. You get cheeseburgers there. Why not? Say, let me get a cheeseburger, Dr. No lettuce. Wait, I got another button for it.
Boy.
Oh,
If they expand to burgers, obviously you can get a Casino Royale with cheese.
The license to grill.
well, don't forget about.
That's what it says on the aprons, license to grill.
Well, don't forget about the kids. You get chicken Goldfingers.
Yep. Thank you. I was thinking about it. I'm glad you got there.
Yeah, and the gold. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I will mention
The
that.
other day is the sandwich challenge. If you eat it within 30 minutes, you get it for free. You're on the wall.
The guy who does the condiments for the sandwiches is obviously the man with the mayonnaise gun.
Oh,
Like that's what,
don't forget about Tomorrow Never Fries.
Well, boys, I think we found our legally distinct yet eerily similar two.
I think we've done it
oh
all.
man.
So when I was watching,
There's a bit in here about quantum of lettuce as being like a wrap.
There's
but I
too
don't
much. There's too much. I was looking at the list of the top. Go back to Blofeld for a second. I was looking at the list of like the top Bond villains of all time, and Blofeld's on the list 3 times because 3 different actors played him. They didn't count this one, and they didn't count the voice only ones, right? They said, and you tell me if you agree with this, the greatest Bond villain of all time is Donald Pleasance as Blofeld. And I thought, you're out of your fucking mind.
The character maybe, but they are just attributing it to the first guy to do it, and he's not even the best version of Blofeld.
No, it's Telly Savalas.
Telly Savalas.
By far.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah.
As far as I've seen, anyway.
I would put Alec Trevelyan and Lashif. Was that Lashif? Higher than him. I would put Goldfinger higher than them. Boy, when I was growing up, there wasn't a single Bond villain that I knew more. Before Brosnan, there was not a single Bond villain I knew more than Goldfinger. It's that line, "No, Buster Bond, I expect you to die." That's just classic. I don't remember a goddamn thing Donald Pleasance said other than, bring me my sub so I can escape and not kill James Bond.
That's not even that thing. That's not even that one. That's Charles Gray.
Shit. Damn it! All right, we're moving past it. What's the ending? As if you care. Bond retrieves the ATAC system and stops Melina. That was her name from killing Chris Christatos. Is that it? Christatos? How does he pronounce it? Christatos. After he surrenders, Christatos, which is delicious, by the way, prepares to kill Bond with
He's Greek.
He's also Greek. He's also on the menu. He's also on the menu. The Christatos. They're delicious. So when I took Vina to go when I was dating her. She never watched movies or anything. I took her to go see Daredevil in theater because I really wanted to watch it. And when they bring up Electra Nachos. And Jon Favreau's character, Foggy, says, she sounds like something like a Mexican dish or whatever. She starts cracking. She has no idea what these characters are. She starts cracking up and agrees. She thought that was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. And I thought, well, now that she would love this movie, she'd love the James Bond series. There's so many food puns you can make. And all she has to do is listen to this episode. I'm going to send her this episode. And I'm going to say, you will die laughing. Anyway, oh God, listen to this line. He prepares to kill Bond with a hidden flick knife, but is killed by a knife thrown by Columbo. If you don't know this film, right now you're going, wait, what? Google arrives by helicopter to collect the ATAC, but Bond throws it off the cliff.
But yes,
I was wondering how long you guys were going to let me go when I said Google. Maintaining relatively peaceful status quo. And Google departs in a amused understanding. I did like that part a lot. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Because he knows, he's like,
we're winding down the Cold War.
Yeah.
We're in the latter. Like, I know we're still 10 years before the Berlin Wall comes down, but like it's happened. We know what side's happening here. It's fine.
Bond and Melina later spend a romantic evening aboard her father's yacht while Melina's parrot fields a call from MI6 and British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. I thought that was much funnier than the scene where the sub comes up and they're just in there having sex and everybody's like, oh, I thought this was funnier. I thought it was still dumb. But I thought it was funnier.
Silly, though.
It's super dumb. Yeah. Okay, so what happens after?
Never mind. No. Go to the thing. I'll come back to this later.
All right. What happens after the credits? I can't tell you what happens after the credits. So I can barely tell you what happened before the credits. So I'm just gonna say we got 2 more or 3 more movies to go. Stay tuned, kids. We got a lot of great spy commercials coming up after this, including Spy Hard starring Leslie Nielsen. And I'm gonna throw it to Cody because I'm tapping out. And I want to get his thoughts on what happens next.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Standard thing. Him and Melina have a one-night stand. He moves on to a different mission. She continues her parents' nautical adventures on this yacht. She turns into the future Lara Croft. We have a whole new game franchise about that probably does better than James Bond is for part of the 90s. It's totally fine. She's proficient with a crossbow. I'm sure she can learn to rock pistols akimbo just as easily.
All right. I like that. Double H, what about you?
This to me feels like the epitome of one of these movies that does not need a follow-up because it ends in such a I did kind of like the whole neutrality situation. Hey, the threat is dealt with. You're not getting your hands on this thing. We don't have it anymore either. Again, back to the status quo. So I think Cody's right in that, like with every other Bond girl, they have a one-night stand. It never lasts. She goes back on to do her own thing. Only this time it's not, another agent or someone who is not remotely an agent. She's kind of halfway in between. I could see this woman going on to do more of that kind of thing, or at least take up the family business and go back to like you said, the underwater exploring it, and Bond just goes back to doing what he does. I mean, this feels like one of those movies where it's fine that the next movie just picks up like nothing ever happened because nothing ever happened. Why would it? There's nothing to come out of this movie by the time it's over. I did see earlier that one of the reviews described it much more negatively, and we've kind of been that way about it as for your closed eyes only, because you just go ahead and look at the inside of your eyelids while this is going on.
They should have called the next movie Nothing Ever Happens. James Bond returns and nothing ever happens. So I actually do have something.
But it's go ahead.
I do have something. Let me all right, so for this to work, you have to rewrite history a little bit and say that they didn't have this huge fight over Blofeld, with the rights to him. So you have the opening sequence and you keep it the same. He goes after Blofeld, but maybe he doesn't drop him down a fucking smokestack, or he does. Fuck it, I don't care. Point is, he spends the rest of the movie trying to teach Melina that revenge killing doesn't get you anywhere or whatever. And at the very end, when he convinces her not to kill the guy, and he realizes that what he's kind of saved her, they don't spend the evening together. Maybe she wants to because she is taken by him after everything that's happened. But remembering his wife, remembering all this happened, he tells her no, there's something he has to do instead. We then see a scene of him going to Blofeld, who's still alive, but is imprisoned because he survived the fall or whatever Bond did to him. And they have a conversation where Bond talks about his wife and what he did. And they kind of have a conversation with each other, and it ends. And it's a very serious conversation. He tells him, you took the only thing I've ever cared about away from me. You'll spend the rest of your life in here, and that's the best revenge for her that I could think of, whatever. And as he leaves, Blofeld says something to the kid, you think this place, will keep me forever? And you kind of hint at that, and then the movie ends. I think that could be a good ending. You tease that Blofeld could come back, and that Bond didn't kill him, and maybe Bond got a little bit of therapy out of it because of everything that happened in this film, seeing someone else going for revenge.
But you have to rewrite that whole opening for that to happen. Like,
yes,
you cannot have that ending with the existing opening. I don't even think it's just the dropping in the smoke. I think you have to
it's the whole thing.
Almost all of that shit.
Yeah,
it has to be way more serious if you're going to pull that off.
And that's not the tone they're going for with Bond. And Cody, it's not a tone that they will go with Bond until our next movie. And that movie was so serious that it killed the franchise basically until Brosnan brought it back.
Yep.
So what the fuck do I know?
We will reveal what we feel about it. Or at least some of us will reveal what we feel about it tomorrow, depending on what happens.
I saw that movie, for the record, License to Kill was one of the first Bond films I ever saw, even before GoldenEye. I saw it a long time ago as a kid, and I always loved it, but I haven't watched it since. And now, after watching so many Bond films, I'm really curious to see how I feel about it. I would also like to keep everyone's... remember this. Roger Ebert gave the next one we're watching 3.5 out of 4 stars, and he gave 3 out of 4 stars on Die Another Day. So I sometimes wonder if Roger Ebert watched these films, or if he's just trying to be nice.
There's only so many movies you can watch, and I'm sure you talk about us not remembering what happened in this movie. I can only imagine how Roger Ebert tried to keep shit straight every single week.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame you there. All right.
Now, wait, to be fair, he gave this movie 2 out of 4. He gave the next one 3.5 out of 4.
Right.
That's
he gave this 2 out of 4.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, he basically agreed with us.
License to Kill, he gave 3.5 out of 4.
But I think what the point I'm trying to make is we all pretty much agreed with him on this one with the 2 out of 4. I'm curious to see if we feel the same way about the next 2 films, because I've never seen Skyfall, but I've heard from everyone it's amazing. But the next 2 films are very much more up and down. So I'm curious to see where we go.
Well, don't do the hand motion, because that means something else now. Also, luckily nobody can see it. Oh
shit.
It's the numbers.
Yeah,
there it is. Anyway, I have already watched License to Kill. I'm not going to review it or reveal anything I think about it now. You got to wait 24 hours for that, but a little less than. But I've already watched it, so I'm ahead of the curve on that one.
And I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow is License to Kill, which is one of the best titles for Bond, and it really does have that gritty '80s feel to it. Just the name alone, License to Kill. It's not for your eyes only anymore. You're not on Her Majesty's Secret Service. It's a license to kill. With a Walter PPK, which only one man, Hunter, I know, uses that weapon. That's James
well, that's
Bond.
strange, because I heard that it is the standard issue for British Secret Service. So I guess you only know one guy who works there.
I wish. Look, I know it's all just wishful comedy thinking, but when he said that, I wish someone would have looked at him and said, "Are you kidding me? Like all of them use that."
Right?
Have you met one?
That's where you bust out the John. That's where you bust out the John Wick joke. Did he not hear a fucking word I just said?
Listening to me? Hey, it's a thumbs up. All right, that's tomorrow. Until then, for myself and for Hunter and Cody, we're out of here. The balcony is closed. Thank you guys for tuning in. And H and C, please take us out.
Well, courage is no match for an unfriendly shoe, Shannon.
Who throws a shoe?
See, I was going to say, there it is. I was going to say, by tomorrow we'll be good friends. Let's drink to that. I'll wait till tomorrow.
I'll wait till tomorrow. That, or I almost thought about throwing you the if you play the odds bit.
Oh, you did, because I was still recording.
I don't.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd have to remember what the other part of the odds were.
I don't
just
remember
Baccarat
either.
again.
Yeah, it's just Baccarat.
I'm still recording.
That's it. It's over. 00 sandwich.